Bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in. We've made it into game number 2 of a 5-game series. Between who? Here in the top left-hand corner, with one of the most distinctive and distinguished beards in the StarCraft 2 scene. Normally a Zerg player, but this time playing Protoss. Why? Who knows? In the red shorts, representing Team Liquid, it is TLO. Look at him go. He's chrono boosting probes. He's got this happy buddy going for some information. But in the bottom right hand corner, wearing shorts just to try to fit in with the other organics, representing Deepmind in also Protoss, you know. It is Alpha Star. Alpha Star. So you see the theme here. You've got Alpha Go and Alpha Star. I think that's them just trying to put themselves first. Just say that we're the best. We're just calling it in our name. I guess there are some StarCraft players named First and Best and stuff. And yeah, Alpha Star is a pretty recent newcomer to the StarCraft scene. So this is a project that's been in the works for a while. I did hear a while back that they were working on it, but it wasn't really able to beat Masters players. But TLO is very far above Masters now. So we'll see what's going on. I mean, 4 out of 3 in the gas. I mean, it's a whoops, but everyone makes mistakes, even robots. So what is Alpha Star exactly? Because it's not a person. Well, it's not a human person. But it is playing a video game that we play as people. Does it have a brain? Kind of. It has a neural thingy. Whatever that is. They said it's like a graphics card that dedicates itself to playing StarCraft. That sounds amazing. Let's see how it plays. So it's got a Stargate here. Double gate. Well, what? Why did it cancel the Stargate? Okay. It canceled the Stargate, right? Because you get refunded. That's fine. We'll remake the Stargate. Just because you slip up doesn't mean that it's over. Things can be rebuilt. Just because you... Whoop! Uh-oh. You can still do stuff. So, TLO has 18 workers and minerals, 3 out of 3 in each of the gases. And Alpha Star has 23 out of 16. This is a very busy base. Look at all these probes. They're vying for that opportunity to harvest resources. And TLO comes in like a boss, dealing some damage, but Alpha Star is still ahead. Even after canceling and remaking the Stargate. It's just probes and probes and probes. And then the fleet beacon build cancel. Did you see how fast that was? That was just a snap call. And based on what information exactly? Can we look? What does this do? They said this is a heuristic view. Okay. So not really too much information. Not a ton. We're just clicking around randomly. Just to kind of stay on your toes, if Alpha Star could have toes. Okay, double shield battery here at the top of the ramp. Got an Oracle going here. And then here's this happy little harass unit going on an adventure. Gonna see what's up. Checking around. Admiring the landscape as it goes, as you do. And this is 31 probes at 28 as it's going in. Looking for some damage. Nope, not gonna try to YOLO for any. We're gonna conserve our units and just fly around, assess what's going on. I think it could see if these resources were being mined from. If you don't know, mineral patches shimmer a little bit if there's a worker actively harvesting from them. So, even though it didn't see the nexus being built, it could probably tell, at least this is not being mined from. Whereas this one, look at these, they're shimmering. We're distance mining. And the refreshing thing about seeing these AI play StarCraft is we as a community have a lot of ideas that are widespread about, oh, this is bad. This is just terrible. You can almost hear Idris say that aloud. Yeah, this guy's just bad. But if it's working, then there must be something to it, right? And TLO, he's a Zerg main, but he's no slouch. I think they said that his Protoss is about mid-GM. So, Alpha Star is up against a pretty tough beast. Going for some Stalkers, 1 sentry for the Bubble of Hope, the Guardian Shield, maybe some Force Fields. And we've got 29 probes to 37 probes. 37! It's just a macro monster. And you might laugh at it and be like, ha, it has like 27 out of 16 in the main base. And then you die to it. And who's laughing now? Did they program laughing into Alpha Star? I think they should. I think they should do that. Stalkers are taking down some of these Phoenixes. Let's take a look at the units lost, just to get a sense of efficiency here. So, looks like TLO is being a bit more efficient. He's lost 9 units for a grand total of 1025. Alpha Star's lost a little bit more. But if you're ahead, economically, you can afford to take some losses, and that's fine. TLO sending a probe to go take a third base. Double Stargate here in the main. Twilight Council's on the way. This shield battery's doing its best to recharge shields and stuff. And then Fleet Beacon and Forge. So Alpha Star gearing for that late game. Carriers are very strong units. So the more of them you have, the better in most cases. A little bit of a supply block here. But there are some pylons on the way. Templar Archives and a gateway. And a gateway. And a gateway. So those could have been a nexus, so he is kind of committing to something here, looks like. How many gateways do we have total? Let's look at the structures tab. Where's this? The structures tab. So 2 warp gates are going, and then in the production tab, 3 more, so up to 5 gateways. Maybe a charge lot Archon thing? What do we have? Yep, charge. Cool. And stuff like this. Building the assimilator before you can feasibly mine from it. Oh, this guy's just bad. Is it, though? Is it even a guy? It's a robot. Single Stargate carrier production has begun. +1 air weapons. So planning for the future. This is still the patch where Graviton Catapult is a thing. We'll see if this research comes into play. It allows the carrier DPS to come online a little bit faster, because it is a big vessel that has 8 tiny ships inside of it, and they have to physically fly out of the carrier. This research speeds up that process, gets them out there so they can do some DPS. A quick mothership here. Mothership, it's a very large unit. Makes stuff invisible, has some abilities. TLO, he's got a strong gateway-based army. And maybe he feels that it's about time to strike at his foe. Let's look at the units tab. What do we have? 52 workers for Alpha Star versus 49 of TLO, 7 zealots, 2 archons, 8 stalkers, 2 sentries against 1 carrier, 9 stalkers, a phoenix, and a sentry. I'm no expert on PvP, so it's tough to say which force is technically stronger. Phoenix picks up a stalker, these cannons adding some DPS. TLO trying to force field out these stalkers and harass this base. Getting quite a bit of good damage done here. Oh, and the probes are blocked from escaping. But the mothership! And there's no detection. So he's got to get some damage here and get out. I don't know if he could focus down this mothership. He does kill the base. Wow. Was he making probes through that? He's not making probes behind it. Bear in mind, he's not a Protoss main. So if he's floating 200 chrono boosts at his base, that's just part of the learning thing. So the AI is learning. TLO is also learning here. Another carrier being chrono boosted out. +2 air weapons is on the way. And the carrier is a unit that hits a sort of critical mass. And this is a point that is both the beauty and the terror of Protoss. They have the biggest, most expensive, slow, and powerful units in the game. And the carrier is basically the ultimate form of that. It is the capital vessel. It's incredibly high DPS. It's got a lot of hit points. It flies. It has a bunch of small units coming out of it that are targeted by the default if you A move. So there's a lot going for the carrier. And it hits a critical mass where if you have enough of them, what is the solution? TLO is going to try to go for some Tempests. And this is the old patch Tempest too, so it's not quite as fast. TLO is up in supply right now. But with the mothership, this army is really annoying to fight against. He does have a cannon so he can see the stuff. But if it's stronger than your army, then that just allows you to see your own demise in high definition. Interceptors coming in. Tempest is trying to shoot at the mothership. Just barely even putting a dent in the shields, though. More Zealots coming in. Archon, Stalker, Zealot, Tempest. See the Tempest all shooting the Interceptors? So these carriers are empty, but they are rebuilding. Alpha Star has 62 probes, which is a pretty good economy against 52 of TLO. Being pretty conservative here, nice micro. Keeping the stuff back. Let's look at the APM tab during this. So TLO is rocking 1100 APM. What is he doing? Okay, we've got 600 or so for Alpha Star. These carriers are just constantly trading the interceptors out and really trying not to lose the vessels, but the Tempests do take one of them out. Wow, a bunch of these Stalkers getting shaved off. Looks like TLO is pushing this attack back. The mothership is ripped. Alpha Star is fallen back to the keep, fallen back to the base. The shield battery is going to be able to recharge some of these units. Stasis trap by this expansion. Another mothership is being chrono boosted out. We do have +3 air weapons on the way. Another carrier and another carrier. Interceptors, Stalker, and TLO's army. It's just really not that strong compared to Mass Carrier. The Tempests need to hit a critical mass where they can start taking out these vessels. If they're fighting the Interceptors, they're going to have a really bad time. And now, look at the supply. TLO is down 92 against 125. Couple Zealots, a few Oracles, couple Phoenixes, some Stalkers. Just nice diversity of composition for Alpha Star. 3 Observers for TLO. Get some detection redundancy here. So in case one of them dies, you still have 2, and if 2 of them die, you still have 1. Some quick math for you. TLO's gonna go for carriers himself, but what are his air upgrades? Nothing. He doesn't have air upgrades. What does he have? 2 Archons. Observers. Some Zealots. This base is gonna go up. There are some Zealots just wandering around the map, checking for things, looking at stuff. The probe production has been constant for Alpha Star, just continuing to churn them out, taking worker losses, but if you're overmaking workers and you lose some workers, that kind of fixes your saturation, doesn't it? This is the Phoenix Oracle Batman and Robin combo, taking out this probe. Some Zealots controlling this side lane. Zealot run by over here, but there's a massive army. Zealots are going to pull back. One of them does fall. And then some Zealots at this space. So now TLO, he's trying to mix it up. He's trying to attack left, right, with small numbers of units, but Alpha Star has been dividing and conquering here. Couple units left, couple units right. Fourth base is going up. Take another look at the units lost tab. Now Alpha Star has been more efficient. Lost more units in number, but a lot of these would have been interceptors, which are very cheap. So it's not really a big deal. Oversaturated base once again. This is a theme. Oversaturated gas as well. Just, I guess it's extra credit or something. 4 out of 3 in the assimilator. Chrono Boost goes on the carriers. +2, or sorry, this is +1 air armor. So these carriers will be +3 attack, +1 armor when this is done. Unit composition wise, we've got 81 probes versus 64. TLO is up in Zealot count, but the Zealots haven't really been able to find any openings. This is really solid stuff. Stasis traps, shield batteries, and a cannon here. So there's detection, there's renewal of shields, and there's some traps. This base has a cannon and a gateway. Triple Oracle going into the main. They're going to look for some damage maybe. And this base isn't quite as robust in its defense. There's just a shield battery, which isn't going to save you against 3 oracles. And TLO can't really afford to lose workers like this. He's got 55 against 87. Look at the bank. It's absolutely massive here for Alpha Star. This Zealot is frozen in time. This Observer, keeping an eye on this army. This army, which does not have detection. Sometimes a player will use their oracles and rely on that for detection. It can work. Unless they die. Yep, they died. Okay. So it seems like the Chrono Boost spending is something that TLO could sharpen up a little bit here. There he goes. Double Chrono on these. He's good in +3 ground weapons, +2 air attack. And here come the Zealots. Bunch of Zealots standing tall upon the wastelands of Catalyst. The Phoenix scouts him. Stalkers shooting, Zealots charge in, and the Interceptors just delete everything around them. Look at this space, how bold. But what do you have to be afraid of, really, when you have this many carriers? 7 of them. And a oh no, this is TLO's Tempest. 10 carriers versus 7 carriers. I wonder if this Guardian Shield gives you defense against the Interceptors, because I think that would be really strong. Okay, the Bubble of Hope is cast. There are some force fields, but the Archons just break them down. And Alpha Star retreats with everything with the Recall. Recall is nerfed in the current patch. This is the old Recall, which is the I want to take back everything that I've just done button. So you can take back an entire army like that. Nowadays it's a smaller subset of that, so you could probably only call back maybe half of that. It's just a smaller area. Okay, so this base is mining out. Still 87 workers versus 54. The flip side here is when we're at 200 supply, TLO is going to have more supply in army than Alpha Star because he has less supply in workers. But the quality of his army isn't quite as high. His upgrades aren't as good. He doesn't have as many carriers. He does have +3 attack for his Archons and his own mothership. But he's up against the capital vessel of the Protoss Armada. What are you gonna do? Take a base. Take some shield batteries. This base is just a scout. It's basically just like a forward overlord. Taking another base over here. Photon cannons, distance mining 1 probe. Just for that little bit of extra gas. It's gonna get there eventually. Just a little bit. The tiniest bit of extra gas. You could do the math here. of how much Vespene per second this probe is earning. Look, it goes in, gets some gas, takes the box with the bin, and then just hovers back to deliver it to the nearest possible nexus. Good job. Alright, we've got a big engagement coming up here. Carrier, Mothership, Oracle, and one poor sentry is just brutally murdered. Got a pylon here. Notice that neither player really super keen to trade out their army. I take back what I said. TLO looks like he wants to make something happen here. He kills that pylon. I guess he's got a lot of confidence. He just killed a sentry and a pylon. Kills a couple probes. These kind of engagements I don't really understand very well. It's just a mass of interceptors kind of flying around. What's actually better here? It's just a swarm of tiny units. TLO does kill this base and push it back. Now he's going for this expansion. So some probes did fall, but it's still a 70 probe setup here for Alpha Star. And like we pointed out earlier, if you have less workers in your 200 supply max out, you can have more army. So now, Alpha Star is down to 41, but a lot more of it is going into army. So this is 153 supply and army now, versus 143. Look at all this unit stuff. What is happening? Looks like these carriers are being focused down by the interceptors, just going for the capital vessels. Wow, TLO's supply is plummeting. You're just getting destroyed here by this mass carrier. 3/3 upgrades, +1 on the shields. Even some probes they're just got fire in their eyes and they're going and chasing this army. Wow, TLO is just dead. Astonishing. That was game number 2 of TLO versus Alpha Star. They casted some of the other ones on the big stream on the StarCraft channel. Why did it give up 2 bases? Because it had 2 too many. Well played. You can imagine if it didn't make a lot of those silly mistakes of like build a structure, cancel it, that it would have been in an even stronger position. Fantastic. Let's look at another one of these games. So people said game 5 of Mana versus Alpha Star was pretty cool. Let's go there. Let's do that. Protoss. Why are they playing on old patch? So it's kind of a scientific endeavor, right? And if you're trying to do science properly, you want to have control, because that allows you to go deeper into whatever problem you're faced with. And it is called Deepmind, so not like surface mind or shallow mind. So if they can keep it in a very specific scenario of Protoss versus Protoss and Catalyst, that means that it doesn't have to learn as much of the variety of new maps, new matchups. That makes stuff a lot more complicated and varied. Thank you for the bits. Hugazerg. And let's do the Mana game. This is game 5. Game 5. Wouldn't you know it? It is Protoss versus Protoss on Catalyst. Game 5, in the top left-hand corner, representing Team Liquid, it is Mana. Alright. Going for a pylon. And in the bottom right-hand corner, in the blue jeans made specially for robots, it is Alpha Star. Interesting pylon placement here. Taking it at the low ground. Gateway. And a probe scout. Scouts, there is a gateway here with a small gap. Oh, it tried to steal the gas. Oh, man. Oh, man, what a nuisance. Alpha Star's probe just being... Uh-oh. Just being a little pooper scooper. Look at this guy. But maybe Mana won't notice that this is the enemy's pylon. Because it's one of those things of like, if you lie very still, maybe they won't notice that you're there. Kind of a situation. So we'll see if Mana can kind of put this puzzle together here. Of like, there's a pylon in my base. Is this my pylon? Whose pylon is this? Is this your pylon? Who made this pylon? And there's another pylon. These Alpha Star iterations that these players are facing are not all the same. You could kind of think of them as different players and specialists who have been selected based on their success against the other AI agents, is what they call them. So this is Agent Pylon. Going for a pylon here, pylon there. And a proxy robo and shield battery. So this is sort of like the almost Prinef agent here. Probably studied Prinef's stream a little bit. Knows how to build robotics facilities on the enemy side of the map. This base is pretty optimally saturated. Got 16 out of 16, 2 out of 3 in each gas. And it stopped worker production. Some of the other agents we've seen, just mass workers. They have so many workers where their saturation is overflowing. Whereas here, we've got a bit of a cheese. Okay, so Mana did discover this is not my pylon, so now he's going to shoot it with his stalkers. Another shield battery and another pylon. Double shield battery. First immortal is about to be born. Zealot Stalker coming up. There is no warp gate research, so all these units have to walk across the map. Zealot Stalker versus Stalker, 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 Stalker. But the shields and the spirits of these units are being renewed by these batteries that are over here. Mana's trying to micro. He does have a supply lead. But the Immortal is coming up. Immortals are very strong versus Stalkers. Mana is getting his own Immortal. Man, just running right up into the main base, shaving off some probes. So now the worker count is all evened up. These probes did surround a Zealot. This is super aggressive. 2 Stalkers and an Immortal, shaving off more units. Now Mana's down to 17 probes, 17 to 19, and we're even putting a Stargate in the opponent's face. Oh, the Sentry force fields. The Immortal Stalker up at the high ground. The Immortal is focused down. And a Stalker is killed. But as time goes on, Alpha Star is gaining an income advantage. There are more probes up here. Kind of. 2 more shield batteries. Is this gonna be a Void Ray? Yeah, this strategy for Alpha Star here is just straight up nasty. Just really pressing the issue, building on the opponent's side of the map, saving the cost in warp gate research by just building the stuff right there. And we're gonna make a Phoenix. The Immortal's being microed back, it's so low! But its shields are being recharged. Oh, Mana's just gone into a trap. There are more shield batteries on this right side. This Immortal has 4 kills. Zealots are coming up, but they can't finish the Immortal and it kills more stuff! There's a Warp Prism. Why is there a Warp Prism? The Phoenix is killing the Warp Prism! Mana's got nothing but 2 Zealots and a Warp Prism. He's warping in a Stalker. The Immortals are coming up to the high ground, there's no power here. Wow. He has to just micro out of his mind. He's about to get his immortal. Probes are being pulled. The immortal is dropped from the prism. Trying to push this back. Now there's a Void Ray being made and another shield battery. The Zealot is lifted. It's just... And then the Zealot is trying to chip away at this immortal, but they're just so tough. Fancy micro with this immortal prism. There's a Stalker to try to push away this Phoenix. This is such a tough situation for Mana. He only has 2 production facilities. Alpha Star is also only using 2, but I mean it's a Stargate and a Robo versus a Gateway and a Robo. Oh no, the prism is getting low! And it's dead. Probes are being pulled. This is it. 1 Immortal and 1 Stalker and some probes against the Void Ray double Immortal Phoenix combo. Wow, and that's it. Mana has been cheesed out of existence. This is 6 shield batteries. Is it? Yeah, 6. No, it's 7. 7 shield batteries, 3 pylons, Robo, and a Stargate. Oh my goodness. 4 pylons. Wow. This was the cheesing agent. What an intense game. And this was beating a pro gamer, like a top player. It wasn't just like, hey, we just cheesed someone on the ladder. Like, this was LiquidMana. He was trying. He was trying his best, and it was likely a thing that he had never seen before. Why didn't he go Void Ray fast? I mean, from a neutral perspective where you're seeing everything that's being set up, you can theory craft it a little bit better, but it was a Robo first with some Stalkers. And Void Rays don't really have as much counter swing potential like Phoenixes do because they're slower. What are you supposed to do? And the tough thing as well is in these 5-game series where it was TLO versus Deepmind and then Mana versus Deepmind, it's different agents, so it's kind of like playing 5 different specialists who happen to be AI rather than one player who tries to play their best and then play outside their comfort zone to try to mix it up. And I think each of these, they were saying, has practiced StarCraft for something like 200 years. Which is kind of funny. Because they can speed up how the StarCraft games go and then run multiple of them at the same time. What an interesting couple games. Nice. Hope you enjoyed the casts. And now I will consume a protein bar. 14 days equals 200 years.